Hi guys, it's Jen Magana with Convicted Hearts. I hope you're all doing well out there. I'm going to bring you another true story. This one happens to be about something traumatic that happened to one of my coworkers in my place of work when I was around 19 years old. Before I do so, I'm just going to ask if you would please subscribe to my channel. For those of you that already are, I do see you guys. I notice all of you that have subscribed recently, and those of you that have been with me from the beginning. I very much appreciate you guys and send you much love. So this actually took place at, let's see, this was my second job that I had. So this was at a cosmetics counter, Lancome Cosmetics at Macy's in Salinas. If any of you are familiar with the Northridge Mall, you know right where that's at. And it actually happened, let's see, I'm not going to really remember the year, but I can look it up. And just to protect the identity of the family, I'm not going to use the young lady's name, but I will say that it was something similar to my own, which will make sense later on in the story as to why people actually thought it was me that this happened to. So going back, I became a counter manager there when I was probably 18, 19 years old. And we happened to be short-handed, and I was looking for some more employees to hire. We had a gift with purchase coming up. That was our most busy time of the year. And I was on my lunch and took a walk down the mall, and I was actually in Sears, which was at the opposite end of the mall. And I heard a voice that sounded, it caught my eye. Like, you know how people just, some of their voices like are soothing to you. Well, her voice, this young lady, was something that caught my ear, my eye, whatever. And when I looked over, she was absolutely beautiful. And she was speaking Spanish very clearly, like excellent. So I was thinking to myself, that is somebody I would love to have work for me, or with me rather. She would be a great asset to my team. So I stopped and spoke to her, asked her if she would be interested, and she was actually really happy that I stopped and spoke with her. She said that was something that she would really like. She liked cosmetics, so I told her to come by the next day. She did, and I actually hired her on the spot. So here's where it gets well, the point of the story is the red flags. So what I mean by red flags is she had a husband whom she was separated from, but they still lived in the same home, or maybe just on the same property while they were settling the issues in their divorce, separation, whatever you call it. And this guy would actually come every day that she worked, and he would sit right outside of the entrance where Macy's is, on the planters that were out there, and he would watch her all day long, every day. This was obviously really creepy to myself and other coworkers. Also, she seemed to not really pay attention to it. Like it kind of went like over her head. She went about her day. So that caught my attention because I thought, wow, that's kind of strange that she's used to that behavior, because I thought it was really odd. From the outside looking in anyways. I guess until you're the one in that situation, you can't really say what's odd and what's not. But myself and the other girls at the counter thought it was really creepy. He would also show up when she would get off work. He would be sitting in the parking lot, even though he knew that she had a ride and he would, she would not be riding home with him. He would call throughout the day several times. He would ask for her, and it was our policy not to just, not to say who is working, what their hours are, or give any of that information out. And every time he called, of course, we told her, and she seemed to, that's just him, he's crazy, don't even worry about it. At some point into the time that she was working there, she started to open up to us, and she let us know that she had met someone and that she was in love. And although I was happy for her, I was also really scared for her, because the behavior of her husband, she was separated from, but they were still legally married. I knew that this was not something he would take well, even though I didn't know him personally. It did make me have a certain level of fear for her safety. Also for the safety of all of the girls on the counter we worked at, because he was always popping in and out. So a few weeks later, there was a morning that she was supposed to help me open up that morning. We had a promotion going. She was always on time. She loved her job. She was amazing. Everybody there loved her. The customers loved her. So it was very unlike her to be late. So I just started setting up, preparing for the day, and another girl came in for work, and she asked where this person was, our coworker. I said I hadn't seen her yet, and just said, let's finish setting up and then we'll give her a call. You know, maybe she's just running behind, maybe she slept in, you know, we'll check on her right now. So once we were done setting up the tables, the phone actually rang before we were able to call her. And I really couldn't make out what the person was saying on the other end. All I could make of it is that they were crying very hard. After taking a few minutes to try and listen closely to what was being said, I could hear this person saying, he killed her, he killed her. And when I realized that this was her sibling who was calling, because we were familiar with her sibling, I knew instantly she was speaking about the husband. I went into shock somewhat. My coworkers did as well, as I let them know what was being said. I obviously verified that information with her family. Also, the Salinas Police Department came and spoke with us and asked questions about the estranged husband. So that also verified that it was, in fact, him they were looking into. Unfortunately, she had a friend, a best friend, who was leaking information back to her estranged husband. And this particular night before work, he was inquiring about this coworker we had, about her whereabouts, and her very own best friend told him she was seeing someone and where he could find her. He in fact drove over to that residence and busted through the door and found her and him both. I believe he shot and killed him right there. He shot her in the chest a few times. She did run. She ran down the street. She got some distance, and he unloaded his gun in her and ended up taking her life in the street. Now, without getting too graphic, I won't go into the details of his actions even after he unloaded the gun, but I'll just say that when the police arrived, he was still trying to inflict harm on her body. So it was very devastating to hear that. And her family had a very difficult time. I'm sure way more than I could ever imagine. Just being that we cared about her at work and we were co-workers, we also took it very hard. We had grief counselors come in and speak with us and help us to kind of cope with things. But I bring this up just to say, if you see a situation, it might be your friend, might be a co-worker, could be a family member, and you see signs that appear odd to you, red flags, it may be something that you want to try to talk to them about. You know, I really didn't push the matter too much because I didn't want her to feel like I was intruding on her personal life. Although I did talk to her about it a little, I didn't want to come off as being nosy. But looking back, I wish I would have pushed a little more, asked a few more questions, maybe brought up the fact that, you know, that's not normal, what he's doing. And I guess I'm kind of thinking about this lately too, because I have a friend right now that is going through something similar. And she doesn't seem to grasp the heaviness of what's happening. You know, if somebody can't trust you enough to go to work and they have to sit there and watch you sit in the parking lot, monitor your phone calls, go through your things, and I mean, they can't even trust you to go to the grocery store. Something is very wrong. That's not normal. And this doesn't just happen to women, it also happens to men. So just be aware of that. If you see it in somebody you care about, somebody you love, bring it up to them. You know, today we actually buried my grandmother, and the not funny, but the odd thing about it is the burial spot she ended up getting was 3 spots away from my coworker where she was actually buried. So not only had I been thinking about her lately, I actually saw her headstone today, and I thought of her some more and thought about what a beautiful person she was, how sweet, how much of a hard worker, how people looked forward to seeing her and her smile, and how far she went out of her way to help everyone. I only wish that I could have helped her more. But I guess by speaking about this to you guys, you know, and in her memory, maybe this could help reach someone else and help them. Maybe that could be you or someone you love. Think about possibly some code words or certain things that maybe you and only that person know. If they're in danger, that you can use, you know, tell them, hey, if something's going on, say this, you know, mention a certain brand of something or a certain item that only the 2 of you know of, so that you can know that maybe that's your time to call for help for that person if they can't call for help for themselves. And besides that, just be a listening ear. Try not to judge them. It's very difficult to get out of these situations. You know, I can say that myself, in all honesty. So just show them love, show them compassion. You may not understand it, and hopefully you never have to. But you can be that person that helps to reach them in their time of need. And hopefully they never experience something as traumatic as this. And with that being said, I hope you're all having a lovely day. I hope to end this with the positive note of, you know, I'm remembering her as being such a special person and that I'm glad I met, even if it was for just a short time. She made an impact on my life and many others. And I guess that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys soon. Until the next one, have a blessed and beautiful day. To all of my Convicted Hearts family. Goodbye.